Coming up on this edition of Flash Talk, brought to you by Bryant Heating and Cooling, we sit down with head baseball coach Jeff Duncan to talk about a big weekend series coming up against Ohio University at home. Dave Duggan, our defensive coordinator, talks spring ball and promotes the upcoming spring game. And head volleyball coach Haley Eckerman stops by to talk about her first season at the helm. And as always, we take a look around Kent State Athletics to see what's coming up at home this weekend. That's all ahead in a flash. And welcome back to Flash Talk. We're inside the GFTV studios and always brought to you by Bryant Heating and Cooling. Dan Griffin alongside head baseball coach Jeff Duncan. And coach, a resilient, gritty, tough win on Sunday after a couple of gut punches at Miami on Saturday. But heck of a job by you and the boys to recover, and now a four-way tie atop the Mid-American Conference standings.
Oh, it's going to be a wild ride here for these last 4 weeks. We're looking forward to it. I think the biggest thing for us yesterday was like you said, a gritty win, a toughness win, a culture win. But the biggest thing for us is we really focused on the little things, on doing simple better. And we had a similar series earlier in the year against Central Michigan where we had our struggles offensively and on the mound, and we tried to do more. But our guys, I think, have learned from that, and they try to do simple better, and like first pitch strikes, eyes back to contact offensively, taking your walks, little things, and then ball first defense. So it was really good to see. It was a fun win because all the momentum was on Miami of Ohio's side for you're looking at about 26 innings, and then we finally grabbed a hold of it. And in those last 3 or 4 innings, I thought we did a really good job and hung in there.
For the uninitiated, Miami takes a doubleheader on Saturday, including a 10-inning win in game number 2. They jump out to a 3-0 lead in the first. It was 6-2 after the third, and again, you just kept chipping away. You make it, all of a sudden 6-2 becomes 6-5, and then it becomes 8-8, and then Colin Matthews, a guy who's been who's seen his fair share of at-bats here at Kent State, and a grad student parks one to lead off the top in the 9th inning, and that had to be a very cool moment for him, and no better guy to kind of exemplify and put the exclamation point on a win.
Yeah, I think it's his second game-winning hit. Proven to be second game-winning hit in the last 3 games for the Flashes too. So coming from off of his bat, and I think that shows great leadership and just I'm happy for him.
And it takes us into a 4-game home week. We'll have Ohio State on coming up. We'll have played them on Tuesday, and then a big weekend against the Ohio Bobcats, one of the 4 teams that is part of that logjam with you guys, and a Bobcat team that's got some very interesting splits. They're 13-5 in the MAC, along with, it seems like, everybody else, but just a couple of wins outside of a very tough non-conference schedule. So when they seem to flip a switch when it comes to weekend baseball.
I think they're well coached. I think they're gritty. They're tough. They are they know how to win through and navigate through a MAC season, as they went to the MAC tournament last year as the 4 seed. And yes, it'll be a really good challenge for us this weekend, and looking forward to it.
So those are going to be Friday night at 6 o'clock, Saturday at 3, and then Sunday at 1. And you guys are doing a really cool thing here this weekend, bringing back the alumni for Alumni Weekend. And it starts on Friday with a pair of major leaguers. Now, his dad, Jeff, who many people might remember from the mid-'90s as a closer for the Reds and the Dodgers, and apparently, much to my surprise, pitched for my White Sox for a hot second there. But Travis Shaw just recently wrapped up a really nice major league career, to where the mayor of Ding Dong City is going to be in to throw out the first pitch.
Yep. Obviously a former Flash, somebody that's been very close to the program to this day. We're looking forward to having him and his dad back. It's great that we actually saw him in Columbus when we played Ohio State a couple weeks ago, and he's always been very close to the program. He's been good with our guys in the locker room, and came back to the golf outing last year, and like you said, had a great career. Had some really big-time years with Boston and Milwaukee. So looking forward to having him back. Looking forward to having our awesome alumni coming back. Obviously a great tradition here in this, from this Kent State baseball program. And we have a great following and great support from them to this day, and we're looking forward to having them back.
Well, who else can we expect back that we're going to kind of showcase with some first pitch? And I know Travis is taking the headlines on Friday, but we've got somebody each and every day. So who do we got on Saturday and Sunday as we kind of walk down memory lane?
We have Dave Edmonds coming in to throw out the first pitch on Saturday. Dave Edmonds is a guy who played here in the 60s and late 60s and early 70s. Just a great guy who's been a great supporter for this program, in many ways. And obviously we have that awesome grand hitting facility down the left field line, which he was a big part of in putting that building up. Follows us on the road. His dad, Dave Edmonds Sr., lives in Aurora. Really just good friends of the program. He's been very supportive of me and our coaching staff, and he texts or calls just about after every game. Last night he was talking about Jordan Kalenda's breaking ball, and then so just looking forward to having him back. It'll be good. And then on Sunday, Tim Del Porto and Eli Krause, two guys that were a part of many wins from 2015 to 2018.
It should be a lot of fun here this weekend. And again, ksutix.com if you want to get in on the action. But for Coach, just really quickly, what can we expect from if somebody's seen you guys for the first time? What would be some of the ways that you describe what has been a really fun year to watch with Kent State baseball?
Anybody who's come and seen us play has all said that we're very, very athletic, and we play with a lot of energy and enthusiasm. You can tell there's a real camaraderie with this club. We have like I said, we have a lot of fun. They're fundamentally sound. They're going to play hard. They're going to play with grit. They're not going to quit, and it's going to be a really good product for you to come out and see.
Well, one way I would, in years past, I would say this is the loosest yet closest as far as camaraderie and bonded team that I've seen in a while, where when you guys are at your best, you're playing free, you're playing fun, you're playing like the kids that are watching in the stands. They play with reckless abandon is probably not the right word, but you play with your hair on fire, but you do so in a fundamentally sound way.
No doubt. And I think we are loose, and there's a lot of confidence. They've paid their dues in a lot of ways. We've practiced really hard and have really made some commitments in the fall. It started in the fall, and I think these guys are always going to be ready to go, and they're going to enjoy the process.
Well, Coach, we're looking forward to another big weekend and hopefully some more Scooney magic as we hope to distance ourselves atop the Mid-American Conference standings.
Let's sell this place out again. That was awesome against Akron. We were sold out on Friday and close to being sold out on Saturday. It was awesome. Let's keep filling the stands. It is our guys feed off of that energy.
Well, Coach, let's look forward to a fantastic weekend, and as always, thanks for a few moments of your time.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Dan. Appreciate it.
We'll be back with more Flash Talk right after this. Welcome back inside the GFTV studios. It's Flash Talk. We're brought to you by Bryant Heating and Cooling. Dan Griffin alongside Kent Grit defensive coordinator Dave Duggan. And, Coach, thank you for making the Flash Talk debut.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
Well, obviously, we're building up to a big spring day where you're going to be one of the head men on the sidelines, but we've also got some guest coaches in store. We've got Rosie Nix and Kent Cleveland, two Kent State greats. They're going to be joining you guys along the sidelines, and that's a pretty cool initiative that you guys are starting as we've got the inaugural Flash Bowl.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting. I met both Kent and Rosie this past weekend, and both exude unbelievable amounts of energy. They're huge supporters of they're proud alums, I should say, and you can just tell that they are all in with Kent State, and it's nice to be surrounded by great players like that want to give back.
So our spring game is going to be 6 o'clock. The doors open at Dick Stadium. It is going to be a traditional spring game, blue versus gold. We're calling it the Flash Bowl. And let's talk a little bit about yourself. And this is obviously the first season of the Kent Grit era. So talk a little bit about your journey and how you've found your way here to Kent State.
Okay, great. Well, I grew up in a high school locker room. My dad was a high school football coach. I grew up being influenced by coaches, and that's why I do what I do. I really enjoy that part of the profession. But I did a lot of early college coaching up in New England, and then I went a stint of NFL Europe for 7 years, and then that league folded, and then I bounced around a little bit in the South, and then I came up here to Western Michigan where I met Coach Burns. That's where the two of us had offices side by side, and just really enjoyed him. And when he reached out to me with this opportunity, I jumped on it, and I'm really excited to be here.
We talked a little bit with Coach Burns about his philosophies and what the Kent Grit mantra really means. It's going to be tough. It's going to be disciplined. Grit obviously stands for a lot more, but there is a grittiness to the team as a whole. What do you want your personality of your defense to be when they take the field this fall?
Yeah, well, first and foremost, I came here because, Coach Burns and I are like-minded. And his expectations are very in line with mine. And, we talked about it at our very first meeting is, first thing when you look at our team, I want to see great communication and body language. All right, are they playing with energy? Are they look like they're engaged? And that's part of the process of getting your brain on fire. We talk about it a lot. College football has changed so much with all the formations and how the pace it is, and you have to be able to process and get your brain on fire. We're going to see a group that's fundamentally disciplined, that they're going to detail their work, and we're trying not to overcomplicate it so that we can detail our work. We can concentrate on those little things. We want to see guys that are going to, we talk about swarming the football, suffocating it, and that is, we want to see those guys that when you put on a film and they'll say, wow, those guys just play hard. And, we're going to see, they finish a play, they're going to be unbelievable tacklers. That's an emphasis this spring. We want to make sure that, hey, creating depth to your defense is pursuit and is being great tacklers. And then when they finish the play, we want to see great enthusiasm, all right, and energy. And if you think about it, that's one play from start to finish. And can you put 70, 60 of those plays together, will be pretty darn good.
Well, it all gets put on display for the first time this Saturday night. It's going to be 6 o'clock inside Dick Stadium. It's the Flashball, the blue versus the gold. And Coach, this sounds like it's going to be a fun, energetic, disciplined, really strong unit to watch, and it's going to be fun to see you guys. It's been fun to see you guys kind of grow this together in a very short period of time, and showcase kind of the building blocks, if you will, before we get back on into the summer and into the fall.
Right. I'm kind of looking forward to it, just to see what we have. We've seen a scrimmage or two here or there, but just to see the guys come out and compete. And it'll be fun. Coach Burns is running it, so it's going to have a little fun to it. So it should be an exciting day for everyone involved.
Well, Coach, we'll let you get back to the drawing board and see if you can't crown yourself the very first champion of Flash Bowl 1.
I'm looking forward to it. If Rosie's there, I know I'll have a good guy on my wingman.
There we go.
Or I'm his wingman, put it that way.
It's a busy weekend at home here at Kent State University. Let's take a look at our upcoming events, brought to you by KSUTix.com. On Friday evening, it's alumni weekend for our baseball team. They'll open up a pivotal 3-game series at home with Ohio University starting at 6 p.m. On Saturday, our women's lacrosse team hosts their senior day as they take on the Youngstown State Penguins at 1 p.m. with tournament implications on the line. Our baseball team has got the middle game with Ohio University at 3 p.m., and then our annual spring game and the first Flash Bowl will take place at Dick Stadium. Doors open at 6 p.m., and fans be sure to check out the Donor Lounge, which is open to the public during the game. And on Sunday, our baseball team wraps the weekend series with Ohio University and a 1 p.m. first pitch at Schoonover Stadium. Welcome back inside the GFTV studios. This is Flash Talk, brought to you by Brian Heating and Cooling. Dan Griffin joined with our head volleyball coach, Haley Eckerman. And Coach, thanks for making your Flash Talk debut and taking a few moments to talk some volleyball.
Yes, excited to be here.
You just wrapped up your first, obviously, regular season and then on into spring. So just your first thoughts as season 1 as head coach under the belt.
Yeah, I think we had our moments in the fall. I think part of it was I came in the whole spring last year by myself, trying to balance everything and trying to figure recruiting out, and just stuck with those girls. And it was a little tough trying to get all of them to buy into a culture. This year we had 8 kids graduate, which was really had pluses and minuses. Then we had 5 go in the portal. actually 6 go in the portal. And so for me, I'm really excited about this year coming up of the kids that we're getting out of the portal, and then the freshmen and the transfers that we're getting in. I'm really excited. Some people dislike the portal, but for me, in a sense, instead of trying to bring in 13 new freshmen, aging that out a little bit and having that.
So let's talk a little bit about the spring season. It's a non-traditional one where you're able to get some games in against some other competition, but a lot of it is in gym work again with your own team. And like you said, with so many graduating and so many in the portal, you got a lot of looks at your players this spring.
So this spring we had one setter, one DS libero, one outside, one right side, and 4 middles. So the one thing that was hard was just our bodies were kind of broken down by now, and so the biggest thing was trying to balance and still wanting to get a ton of reps in and getting that time, because we didn't get to spend a lot of that with those 4 that were here in the fall, and just getting those transfers. We had 4 transfers come in and getting them acclimated to how things work. And we spent a lot of time. The girls got to work out with Bob every single day, our strength coach, every day this year in the spring, and I think that's huge. I think we had kids that came in and just were able to utilize that and kind of get back in a shape that they hadn't been in, and they'd been at other schools that it was kind of the same monotonous workouts, and now he's doing different things and they're doing different testings. And I mean, we had some testing today, and we had kids touching 10 foot now and PRing, and so they're seeing the work that they're put in actually come to light.
Yeah, it's not the same workout over and over again. It's a little more dynamic, if you will, to where you can reach those new heights and not just doing the same thing over and over again. But it must have been nice when you guys were scrimmaging Walsh and Robert Morris to hit against somebody other than your own team.
Yeah, I think for us, we've had a couple of the girls who graduated come into practice, but they're a little rusty. I've jumped in, Tamika's jumped in, our new assistant Jackson's jumped in, but it's just not the same when, you're having to play against 4 people or 5 people. There's not a battle as much. And so we really got to utilize. I think we struggled a little bit with Walsh because it was something new to us. We hadn't played against anybody else, and then really did well this past weekend against Robert Morris and figuring out, we were down by 8 or 9 points and we came back and won. And I think having them learn how to come out of that versus me. So I didn't call timeouts. I let them figure that out. And I think it's helped us build that culture so that when we do get new kids in, we kind of know what the standard is.
Yeah, and in the exhibitions, you're allowed to, all right, we're going to play 5 sets regardless. Or both coaches are going to agree that we're going to work on X, Y, or Z kind of going forward, because that's the nice thing about the non-traditional season. Both coaches are wanting the same thing. You're going, we're gonna go ahead and do that. It's not your traditional, okay, first 3 out of 5. You get to work on a little bit of everything.
Yeah, so it helped too. We had referees when we played Walsh, and they're like, we're on your time, so if you need to stop and break something down, we're not going to blow the whistle. We'll let you talk and do that. And the same with kind of Robert Morris. We were controlling the whistle, so it was nice. If they were talking, I'd kind of wait. If I was talking, I'd wait. So we got to really kind of give feedback right away versus waiting until watching film later on.
So you said that you and the coaching staff also took some reps. How is your game nowadays after a few years removed from the college and professional circuit?
I think I'm smarter. I tell them, I might have told you to do this, but I'm not going to do that. And, I'm able to see the court better now. And so my shot selection, I can do it where I don't have to jump, and I can still see what they're doing. And so I think they're starting to learn that too. Like, well, how did you know I was going to do that? I'm like, well, I am some years out now. I think I should know how to, play the game better. And so it helps them too of going back and watching film and seeing what I'm seeing then.
Now, what's kind of on the to-do list now that the spring ball is done? You get to, I would hate to say you get to take a breath, but maybe you get to kind of look back on the fall, look back on the spring, and just go, these are the things that I want to work on either as a staff, whether it be recruiting or just as the team as a whole. What is kind of on the to-do list before reporting comes back in August?
Yeah, so we'll get to go see the cool thing is they do the 18s championships. So our kids that are seniors right now in high school, their championships is this upcoming weekend in Columbus, which is really nice because I haven't gotten to see 2 of our girls play. So we'll go down there, and then May for us is a quiet period, so we can't go off campus. We'll bring a couple kids on some unofficials, But really just trying to get in the portal. The portal opened back up for us in the 1st of May for about 2 weeks. So trying to kind of finalize our roster. And then in July, we'll go to nationals for the high school age. Really trying to solidify our 2024 class so we don't have to stress about it into the later year. And then just kind of getting our kids here. They'll get to be here for the summer. We can't have access to them, but they can work out with Bob and do open gyms and just getting them adjusted to college. They'll take some online classes. Getting those kids adjusted for 5 weeks so that they can kind of be, it's nice because Bob knows kind of what to expect for what August will look like, and so he kind of gets them in the mindset for that.
And any way you can kind of ease that transition period,
Yeah.
so they don't have that deer in the headlights look when you need
Yes.
them to kind of hit the pedal and get going. We'll leave you with this question. You talk about setting up a culture and making a team in your own image. When we come and see you in the fall, what do you want that personality and image to be?
I think the biggest thing is that they're going to go out and compete whoever we're playing against. I think we did really well our non-conference, but I don't think it was challenging enough. And so when we got into conference, we kind of went back to making a lot of errors, all the things that I talked about when I was interviewing and when I first met with the girls. And so just kind of getting to a point where they're not scared to play against whoever we're playing up against. So we're going to play Iowa. We're going to play, some top teams. And if we can compete against them, then we should have no problem competing in our conference. And
if those are lessons to learn, let's learn them in August and September,
right. Yep.
rather than later on this spring this fall inside the Mac Center.
Yes, thank you.
Haley Eckerman, our head volleyball coach. We wanted to give one final shout out to our Kent State women's golf team who took home their 24th consecutive Mid-American Conference championship this past weekend. Best of luck at regionals. For all of us here in the GFTV studios, this is Dan Griffin saying good night and go Flashes.